She's an award-winning writer, a hunting guide, archery and rifle instructor, keynote speaker, and all-around outdoors woman who encourages you to get outside, hunt, fish, shoot, and savor all that life has to offer. And now, here's your host, Mia Anstine.
Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to the Mac Outdoors podcast, where we share a connection with rural living outdoors, shooting, hunting, fishing, and other lifestyle. Thank you for joining us today. If it's your first time tuning in, then welcome to the show. And if you're a longtime subscriber, thank you for your support. I certainly do appreciate it. I hope that you have been enjoying hunting and holidays and all of the good things. And I hope that in everything that you do, you are very thankful. Today we have a special guest that you men might appreciate. And we're going to be sharing some products that we'll learn about. I wanted to learn about, so I'm sharing them with you. And some of you might even want to put these on your gift list. And as we're visiting, we will have a discount code in the show notes for you to use at Tarncap's website. And we're going to learn what Tarncap is in just a minute. But if you have questions or comments or other ideas, reach out to us on social media or via email. The email address is contact@miaanstine.com. And so without further ado, we're going to learn about some concealed carry apparel, not holsters, but apparel for you to wear when you're carrying, guys. Check this out. Hey guys, it's Mia from the future, and I just wanted to let you know that we hadn't given you the code. I mentioned that it is in the show notes, so it is there. But if you would like to go and check out the products offered by Tarncap Gear, please visit Mia.Limited/Tarncap, Tarnkappe, Tarncap. And you will get a discount over there. And also, it's an affiliate code, so the show does receive a little bit of money back at no extra charge to you. I also, myself, have ordered a shirt from Tarncap just to see the whole process. And I want to let you know that everything is so smooth. The packaging is wonderful. In the episode, I mentioned how the quality, and Gustavo mentions the quality as well. So please do go check it out. What a wonderful gift idea this may be for yourself or for somebody in your life. Well, hey there, Gus. Thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to get to know you and also to get to know about your product and share that with my listeners. I always, when I'm learning, I try to help them learn as well. And there's something that I wanted to ask you just right off is that hopefully you will introduce your company and your product. And I want to know also about the pronunciation of your product and where that the name came from.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, Mia. Thank you for having us on your show. So, my name's Gustavo Molina, and I'm one of the founders of the company Tarncap Gear. Tarncap, comes from the German language, and it really is based on some tales, and it has to do with the cloak of invisibility. So, when we were setting out to do concealment apparel, we thought, what really is the concept that we're going for? So, you've heard us talk about in the industry about the gray man, but we wanted to go a step further than that. And truly, what we want is to provide apparel for that individual who really just wants to blend in, wants to go unnoticed, go about their business without giving away the fact that they may be concealed carrying.
And so you talked about the gray man. Is that kind of just when we just want to blend in when we're traveling or when we're out and about? Is that what that is?
That is correct. So, truly, everybody, there's a time and place for everything. Of course, there's open carry in many of our states, which, is perfectly fine. But there are instances where you really just do not want to be recognized. Some states, of course, require that you conceal at all times. But the expert eye, too, if you go through enough trainings, you'll learn how to identify that individual who is carrying, right? You'll look at how they're walking, you'll look at the type of apparel that they're wearing, and you can easily deduct, okay, I can see somebody walking down the street and say, I believe that person's probably carrying today. Our shirts are designed to really completely blend in look like anything that you would pick up from a department store. Anything that you can find at your local, Dillard's or some other department store. And that sometimes if you want to go to a nice dinner, for example, or if you're looking to, maybe if you're going to church service and you still want to carry, but look like you belong where you are, then that's what our shirts are intended to give you. Give you that look where you would fit right in.
That's something when I received the information about your product. So I'm an outdoor writer, just to let you know, and obviously have a podcast, but I review different items and stuff like that. And when I received it, I was like, well, this doesn't really fit me. But then I looked at your website, and the stitching and the seaming and the design is just impeccable. It's super nice. And it's something that my husband, he really likes stuff that, it doesn't pucker or gather when he's wearing it. It looks sharp. And so it just attracted my attention, which is, you mentioned before we started recording that a lot of women buy the products. And I would be one of the women that would buy this for my husband. I mean, that's very likely. And so when you guys started the design of it, where are they made? Are they made in America? Are they made overseas?
So they are made overseas. We are using U.S. cotton where possible. The shirts are being manufactured in Honduras
Okay.
in Central America. And so, that was really one of our goals. There are many options out there today with shirts that offer or are designed for concealment. The colors, are usually for that outdoor look, if you will, your olives and your tans, which are great. But what we set out to do is say, okay, if we're really trying to compete here in that space where you get to buy a premium shirt with, like I said, in most instances, 100% U.S. cotton, really well manufactured. That's where there's not a lot of options today. I've been looking at this probably for 20 plus years. I've been carrying probably for 30 years. And I always thought to myself, it's so hard to find that shirt that will fit me just right, especially if I'm wanting to go to a nice dinner. So I've looked and I've looked, didn't really find a lot of options. So we decided maybe we need to build it.
Yeah.
And so we started the process of coming up with a design. The key to our design, of course, is in the snaps that are not visible to the public, if you will. They are made to look exactly like a regular shirt,
And
but
so
of course provide you with that functionality that will give you quick access to your firearm.
yeah, and that's what I was just going to ask you about the snaps. And the purpose of those you just said is quick accessibility. So we're not popping buttons off shirts or something like that if we don't know how to pull our shirt up to reach our handgun fast enough, right? Did you specifically do the snaps with the button appearance just so it looks regular? Or why wouldn't you go with maybe like a pearl snap shirt or something like that?
So there are options out there with pearl snaps, but what we found is in an urban setting, for example, that is not a common shirt. That is a shirt that would stand out. For example, if you're in a small town, if you're going to the rodeo, even here in Dallas where I'm located, then that shirt fits. But if you're going downtown, for example, or you're maybe going to a concert, unless it's a country music concert, that shirt may not fit that setting.
Hmm.
So that is the area that we're trying to focus on and making sure that we give you a shirt that will fit that setting. And so all those are button down shirts. So we had to ensure that you get that look of a button down shirt. And so we have a patent pending approval on the design of the snaps so that they are hidden and concealed to somebody else. It took us several tries to come up with giving enough strength to the fabric to ensure it wouldn't rip when you are pulling on those snaps, but at the same time have those buttons on top that if you're choosing to wear the shirt untucked, it would look just as good.
Yeah, and so I have a question. I didn't check this out when I was looking at the products, but how far up does the snap go? Like, so will it look like there's a button on the side that's not buttoned and that one won't have a snap? Or what do you do with the top area?
So the top area, so pretty much everything from your chest to your belly button is going to be a regular. It's going to be a regular button. So just the bottom two are the ones that are faux buttons. They are non-functioning, and
Okay.
that's where you have the snap. So I've gotten the question before, why did we not do it all the way with snaps? And the idea there was is when you pull, and we have a video on our website where we show to pull straight up with your weak hand. That allows, by having buttons on the rest of the shirt, that is less fabric that is moving and that could potentially get in your way. So the button two is just enough space for you to draw your firearm and not have to worry about snagging on any type of fabric. Now, the larger sizes, we do have snaps on the bottom three, just to accommodate for individuals that are taller. But that is the purpose. You know, we did put a lot of thought into it, and again, we're just trying to make sure that it's the easiest possible draw in case you ever need to do that.
Yeah, so I understand that bottom part, and I guess for the listeners, I do have YouTube, and some people go there and watch, and so I'll share some videos on that YouTube about this that you're talking about, drawing and pulling that shirt out. But for the listeners, can you explain? I mean, when I first saw concealed carry shirt, I thought maybe it was like something with holsters and pouches for men, but this is for the listeners, it's kind of designed to help cloak your concealed carry. And as you said, that cloak of invisibility. Can you kind of describe what things you've done to the shirt? We have the snaps, but then you've also done some other features to help be able to hide the handguns while you're carrying.
That's correct. And so, even though we made the shirts look like a regular everyday shirt, like I mentioned, that you can pick up at a department store, practically everything that we have selected for the shirts was picked for the purpose of concealment, starting with the patterns on the fabrics. We offer a lot of classical looking patterns, but they're made to contrast so that they can help break the visual possibility of you not printing. So, we use a lot of dark and light colors in our pattern. Again, a lot of checkered to help avoid printing. We also purposely have put no branding, no logos, no labels on the outside of the shirts. Because, of course, as we continue to grow, we don't want people to know that you're wearing a Tarncap Gear shirt. We would love to advertise that, but we know our intent, again, is to provide concealment. We also went ahead and purposely lengthen or shorten the shirt so that you have enough cover if you were to raise your arms, but at the same time, the shirt is not too long so that if you're sitting down at a restaurant or anywhere else and you're having to draw, if you're carrying appendix, for example, the shirt will still give and it will allow you to access your firearm. A lot of times we have people wear untucked shirts and sometimes they're sitting on their shirt because it's just too long. If they try to draw, their own weight will prevent them from doing that. And then the key again for the design is what we call the always carry fit. In time, every time I would find a good shirt for concealment, I would buy an extra a size larger so that I would have that space around the waist.
Yeah.
And then of course, I would look huge or I would look small in a larger shirt. So what we have done is we've made the shirts so that they fit you right around the chest and the shoulders, but provide you just enough room for your firearm. So going back to your comment and your question about, you were anticipating that we had a holster or some pouch for the firearm. There's thousands and thousands of options to carry when it comes to holsters and firearms. So we're not trying to solve that problem. That has been solved by other folks. What we're trying to do is give you a shirt that will help supplement that, your choice of holster and firearm, and also give you quick access so that if you ever have to draw your firearm, our shirt will not get in your way. So, like I said, a lot of thought around the shirts.
Yeah, totally a ton of thought. And as I said, all of this that I'm asking you is why I'm having you on the show, because I thought it was super cool. And as somebody who carries myself, it's something where I do have all those different holsters because it depends on what shirt I'm wearing and, what style I'm going to have that day. It all changes. But thinking about all those holsters, and you said you've been carrying for 20 or 30 years. So you've gone through the ups and downs and the hard knocks of trying to figure out holsters as well. It seems like many people who do carry, you go through that learning curve. But what is this shirt specifically designed for, like belly bands or a belt holster inside the waistband holster? What kind of holsters would I anticipate wearing under this shirt?
That's an excellent question. And so we have proven, because we have different folks on time when we've attended some shows, that I carry appendix. That is my preferred method. One of our partners, he carries at the 5 o'clock position. We have some folks that carry outside the waistband. And so our design can accommodate all of those. And it's really just a preference that you have. Because when you're drawing on the shirt, again, and with the recommended style where you just pull up, regardless of whether you're right or left-handed, pretty much half of your shirt is going to be held at your shoulder. So that gives you access anywhere in the waist, on the waist, sorry, for you to access your firearm.
Yeah, and so because I like to appendix carry also, and if I'm going to
Hmm.
tuck a shirt in and I want to put my firearm in there, does the shirt you'll tuck in behind it if it's clipped to your pants? What I'm picturing is I'm going to put my holster on, my belt will be covering that so we don't see the clip.
Right.
And then I would tuck the shirt in, and would I have to like kind of pull it out and blouse it to cover the firearm, or how are you doing that?
Yes. So I am tucking in, between the belt and the holster itself. So it is covering the firearm. And for example, will pull just enough and blouse it, like you said, just so that I can get a good grip. But quite honestly, it is the way I normally wear my shirts anyhow, because the shirt already by design has that blousing effect going into it. So it gives you just the right. And again, we have videos on our website and on YouTube as well, where we show the different styles of wearing it tucked and untucked, and how it can work to your advantage.
That's what that extra room down there. So if I wanted to wear untucked, and I didn't check out the women's line a ton, but I'm thinking of my husband also. If he wanted to wear untucked, he could still have his handgun there, and there's enough room where it's not like sucked tight to see the grip printing through.
Oh, absolutely. And again, and that's where the always carry fit comes into play,
Hmm.
where it's just enough, you know, it gives you just enough room around your waistband. And when we designed it, we knew, people carry sometimes a couple mags, maybe a flashlight in your waist on the waistband, in addition to the firearm. And when we carry all that equipment, the shirt untucked will still cover. We do have videos where it shows you how it works tucked as well. Again, there, the selection of the firearm and the holster will make a difference, right? If you're carrying a full size firearm, that might be a little bit harder to conceal
Yeah,
depending on your body shape.
that makes sense. So looking at your website, you have a bunch of different product lines, and I see different collections and stuff. How are the collections designed? Like, how did you come up with those?
Thank you. So we just rolled out the last two collections. We started with the Independence collection. And, one of the things that's really important for us, of course, is that in the United States, we have the right to carry and to own and possess firearms. Not everybody gets to do that. And we wanted to celebrate that. So Independence was the original collection that we brought out. And that is our more premium shirt. The quality of the fabrics is stellar. The manufacturing is just impeccable, and I'm really proud of the shirts. But I do feel that that is an accurate description of the shirt. And again, those were designed really. We were thinking of date night. If you're
Uh-huh.
going on a date night to a nice restaurant, this is the shirt that you can wear by itself or under a jacket, look good, and still be able to carry.
Okay.
Well, after rolling out with the Independence collection, we have received a lot of feedback from our customers, and they wanted to see more solid colors and something maybe a little bit more casual. So we decided to roll out with the Constitution collection, and so there, we went away from one pocket to two pockets, not a button-down collar, just make it look a more casual shirt that maybe you're going to the movies kind of shirt, right? Maybe you're going out for an ice cream with your children or with a friend. And that's the look that we were going for with the Constitution collection. And then the latest collection is the 1791. This is right now our flannels. So just in time for winter. So we rolled out with our flannels. Again, giving it that more of a casual look. It's heavyweight flannel. We plan to introduce some modern Western shirts in that collection, but that will be closer to the springtime.
Okay. And I'm looking at one of the flannels, and the pockets look a little bit Western on that, the way they're scalloped.
So we got a lot of our inspiration from Yellowstone, uh, the show.
Uh-huh.
So we're big fans of the show, so we figured, okay, that's where we drew our inspiration from.
That's a great idea, brilliant idea. And I mean, it sounds like you're probably going to be able to keep on top of trends, and you're looking at what is needed out there. So you're looking at market demand. Is it just you doing this, or how are you guys working through this?
Well, so it's a family-owned business. So my wife is helping a lot, and we also have our partner who's actually been in the apparel industry. So if I could go back a little bit and tell you about our story,
Yeah.
during COVID, I was working from home a lot. So that meant I got to wear more of my street clothes instead of my business wear. And I started realizing, okay, I have a lot of shirts, but only a few of them really work well for concealment. And why is that? And having conversation with one of my partners who's been in the apparel industry, we started talking about this, and I told him, here's my challenge. And I've never known anybody to solve this problem of a good looking shirt that helps me conceal. Well, thanks to COVID, we had the opportunity to work on this, went back and forth, testing different designs, especially on how we would be able to provide the quick access. So we looked at different options, but we landed on the snaps and the way, again, to create the placket in such a way that you would not be able to know that there were snaps underneath. And that's the story. So yes, it's a couple of us running this operation, and we know we're new to the market, so we offer free shipping and free returns. We pay for the shipping if you want to return it. Thankfully, all the returns we've had is because maybe it was a wrong size, but we have yet to have a return sent back to us because they didn't like the quality or if there was any defect with the shirts. And so we're really blessed in that way.
Yeah. And do you have size charts, and like how can we figure out what size somebody needs and if they're different shapes and stuff like that?
Yes. So we have a section on our website that's, we call it No More. And in there, you will see how to care for the shirts. It does have a size chart as well. And we also have a drawing guide on, how to draw using our shirts to just help the customer understand what's the recommended way that we have on how to draw.
Very cool. You guys, you thought of it all. I obviously didn't go through everything on your site because I didn't look at that part to see that you
Yeah.
had the guide and the size chart on there. but you definitely have thought of so many things. Are you, and wow, good things come out of COVID. You don't hear very many good things that came out of
Yeah.
COVID. I guess God takes us where we need to go when we need to. But when you're doing this, how is the evolution happening? I mean, are you continually evolving, or do you schedule, like your new launch of that Constitution and the 1791? Did you say, okay, in the spring we're going to launch this, in the fall we're going to launch that, or is it just kind of as you can?
So it's really based on the feedback that we're receiving from our customers, and that's really what. So we are blessed in two ways. We're blessed in the fact that we have customers that are quick to tell us what they think and what they would like to see from us. So that is the best type of feedback that we could receive, and that's how really both the Constitution and the 1791 collections came to be. That was direct feedback from the customers. Then the second thing that we have is we have found some manufacturing partners that are really working with us, and they are the ones who are telling us, here's the trends, here's what we're doing for other clients. I am not at liberty to tell you who their clients are, but they're making sure for really high end customers. Some brands that are charging 2-3 times what we charge for our shirts, but we get that feedback from them. We say, here's what they're doing. So we just, piggyback off their commentary. We look at what our customers are saying. We look at what the manufacturers are saying, and then we're putting it together. And one of the keys that we're doing too is from a strategic perspective is that we're doing limited releases. Because again, we don't want people to know our shirts. That can come back to bite us, but we roll out limited quantities, and then we might or may not bring back that specific style, that specific model. Because if we're really successful, then you're going to see our shirts everywhere, and then you'll be able to spot our
Right.
customers wearing our shirts.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, that's not something that I would have thought of, which is probably why I'm not making shirts. But it's the concealed carry community. I guess there's millions of gun owners, but that community is probably small. And if we all loved the black and white plaid one, and we're all wearing a black and white plaid, of course, going to have the same outfit when we go to the shows or wherever we're going.
That's right.
That's really smart that you're thinking in that direction. So,
It has been really exciting for us. We're passionate about the Second Amendment. We're passionate about helping others be able to defend themselves and their families. And we're not coming up with the design on a new handgun. We're not coming up with a revolutionary design on a holster. But we felt there was a need for good-looking shirts, refined shirts that can help you conceal. And so we're really excited about the opportunity, and we think that there's a lot of growth potential. And so we're just trying to put out as many shirts as we can, and hopefully people can then, and again, going back to our tagline, can always carry. They won't feel a need that, oh, I can't carry today because I'm going to X place and I have nothing that's going to help me blend in. So we're trying to make sure that people can always carry.
awesome. I love it. I think it's great. So you've told me how long you've been training. Do you train all the time and take different classes to keep up with your skills and stuff like that?
I do. So I've as I have become older, I have learned a lot, and I've definitely become humble. And that is one of the things that I keep insisting, that everybody who's going through their journey, you will always learn something from somebody. And so I try to do at least 1 or 2 classes from an expert, one or two a year. And then I will go by myself, at least once to the gun range, because it is a perishable skill. And so unfortunately, if you ever need to draw and defend yourself, there's no opportunity for mistakes. So training is constant, and I'm a firm believer. My family will tell you the first thing I do when they turn 21 is give them a gift card to go get their concealed license
There's your
wherever they
gift
live.
idea.
Yeah.
That's an awesome
So
gift. And so everyone in your family, they are all knowing how to be safe and be able to protect themselves or the friends or family that they're with.
That is correct. It's been something that even from I have two daughters, and ever since they were teeny tiny, I have been educating them about firearms and how to be safe about around firearms. Making sure that they understand how to use them, how not to use them, how to respect them, and to understand the implications of owning a firearm. This is something that I learned from my father. When I turned 15 years old, he didn't actually hand it to me, but when I turned 15, he gave me my first handgun. And he said, "This is yours. It's going to be in my safe, but it's yours." And as I was growing up, even before that, we would have to memorize all the rules of owning a handgun, and he would be incredibly disciplined about that. But I grew to learn how to use them and how to respect them. And if I can help carry that, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's such an awesome gift. And it's something that I go and speak at different Second Amendment events and issues, and I advocate. And I think that is, as a father, my father, in one of my speeches that I give, that's the most empowering thing I think he ever did was to teach me how to be safe with a firearm and teach me that responsibility. So I think that's awesome that you did that with your daughters as well. It's an empowering thing. So I commend you for doing that.
Thank you. Yes, it's all about education. It's unfortunately a lot of what you see happen in the world today is because of the lack of education and people not having the opportunity to be exposed to these tools. Because at the end of the day, they're just tools, and if you take the mystique away from them and people learn how to use them, then it takes a lot of the curiosity. It takes a lot of the, oh, I want to go adventure and see what this happens, and you learn to respect them. Because by themselves they're not going to do anything, but it's how we handle them. So I'm a big proponent. I My only involvement in the industry has been with the shirts. Outside of my social circle, I will speak all day long. I will take all my friends and their kids to the gun range, and I will spend the time and the energy to teach them the best way that I can. I am not an instructor, but I have been around firearms enough that I'm comfortable teaching somebody how to handle them. But at the same time, I'm a student. So I'm constantly learning. And that's the part where humility comes in, where I know that there's people that know more than I do. And I try to learn from them.
Yeah, always learning. And that's something that we talk about all the time on this podcast is to always be learning, which, as I said when we started, I wanted to learn about your product. And I try to share that when I'm learning, share it with the listeners so they can learn as well. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. You said that you're in Dallas area, and in Dallas are you able to open carry there, or is it all concealed there?
No, in Texas, you can open carry. So, yes, and from time to time, I'll run into somebody who's open carrying. And now, we're now a constitutional carry state too. So we no longer have to have a license to carry.
Interesting. I wonder how that works with the reciprocity. I actually head down there to teach a lot. I teach women's firearms and archery classes. And I always look like when I'm traveling to do that, I'm like, okay, where can I take my handgun? And I never worry about there, but I wonder how that works for somebody who's not a resident. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that, yes, you have to have a license then if you're from out of state in order to carry here. You will have to have your license. And that's why I always tell people, even though we can open carry and carry without a license, I always recommend get your license because that way you can travel different places and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I have a question. You earlier talked about how people can sometimes deduce that you are carrying. And this is something that you said to a trained eye, and the more you carry, you kind of notice this stuff. I've actually had different shirts on where I'm like, if somebody can notice that I'm carrying today, then they're probably looking too hard. They
Yeah.
probably need to know that I'm carrying if they're looking at me that hard. What are your thoughts about that, especially like for women?
So, for women, it's interesting because I feel that women do put a lot more energy into their outfit, and which is great. So I think they have that opportunity to blend in a lot more. When my comment is more, when I think about when I've been to gun shows, when I've been to conferences, NRA conference or USCCA Expo, for example, you will see a pattern. You will see a lot of tactical clothing. You will see a lot of tan, FDE, olive. You'll see a lot of black cargo pants, and so you start noticing that trend. So when you see that same look outside of those shows, right or wrong, you stereotype and you think, okay, I think that person may be carrying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really, and when I look at the offerings that are out there today, it's a lot of those fishing shirts and those same color trends. And so that's what we were trying to go away from. So if you look at our shirts, there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of blue checkering. There's green, bright green. It's very classical colors that we're using. What you would see probably downtown, as opposed to maybe outside of the city. So that's where we were going with that style, and saying, okay, there's nothing wrong with those shirts. I don't want to make it sound like it's bad, but we figure, okay, we need to come up with a different offering, something that is not offered today.
Yeah, and I like the style, and that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the listeners too. We always call those guys tactical Timmies, and you spot them from a mile away, and you're like, okay, there's a Timmy over there.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for joining me, and I did enjoy hearing part of your story and you sharing a little bit about your family with us, because I think that's part of what makes you successful is who's behind you and who's helping you and with you. So I think that's really neat that you have that team and have it in your family. And for my listeners, would you let them know? I kind of shared the website, but are you available anywhere else, or where can they purchase the products?
So our products are only available on our online store for now. So if they're interested in our shirts, they would need to come to tarncapgear.com. I know it's a mouthful, so we can provide a link for you to post with your podcast, but that's the only place where we're making the shirts available right now.
Okay, yeah, and I will include a link in the show notes, and I did add, and it's an affiliate link from your site, which that was very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for having that so readily available. We'll see
Absolutely.
if hopefully the listeners will use it and check it out and share it with others. And on social media, do you guys share? You said you have a YouTube?
So we have a YouTube, and we're also on Instagram. We're active on both places. The YouTube will have a lot more of the demo videos of how to use our shirts, and the different functionality, and compare it to our regular shirt. And then on Instagram is where we post a lot of the different, a lot of the visual that you can see on the styles that we have on our shirts.
I'm just like smiling right now because I'm imagining. I haven't been to your Instagram yet, and do you do like an outfit of the day, a fashion post? Because I'm thinking of these ladies that send me these fashion posts every day.
So I'm smiling now that you mentioned it, because we've thought about that. That is some of the feedback that we have received from some of our younger followers, that we should do that. So we're trying to get the right people to be able to make sure that we can pull that off.
It probably would be fun, and I'm just thinking social media is such a giant to attack, and who knows what direction people come at. But I mean, you have fashion wear, and it just seems like it would fit, even if it's just on your stories.
Yeah.
Make a channel and tell
That's
them
right.
about what outfits they can wear for the holidays. This is the stuff that I'm getting in this season.
That's right. That's definitely something we need to add it to our list of things to do.
As if you probably have not enough yet, right? Sorry, I have too much fun sometimes.
No worries. See, believe it or not, this is the type of feedback we act on it. So we may not be able to pull it off right away, but we take it in and we add it to our list and we get to it eventually.
Eventually. Very good. Well, as I said, I do appreciate you coming on the show. I'm going to go subscribe to your social media and check out all the social media since I haven't dove into it too deep yet. But I'm super excited to learn about your technology and everything that you've designed. As I said before for the listeners, check out the website because the quality of these shirts is amazing. And I think even if it's somebody who didn't carry, you would probably be fine wearing this. Like, you don't have to be somebody who carries to wear these shirts. And I didn't ask you, but as far as the women's stuff, is that kind of a narrow line, or what all are you thinking with that?
That is right now is a partnership that we have with Incognito Wear. We did see we could help each other out with traffic, and so they've been a great partner for us because again, we feel that about 40% of our shirts are being purchased by women. Again, as probably as gifts to their boyfriend or husband or a relative. And so we wanted to expose ourselves to more women, and that's how we partnered with Incognito. We do have plans to eventually go into that space. We think there's a lot of good offerings already today, like Incognito and others. So we're focused mainly on menswear. We have plans to come up with jackets and vests that leverage our same design, not the fabric designs, but the snaps and the always carry fit. So we're going to focus on those first and then eventually come up with a women's line.
I would tell you from some of my friends who have created women's lines is that, as you said, there's so many options and we have so many things. Like, I would start with the men like you did, because women, the sky is the limit, and who knows how much you could do there.
Yes.
But I will also link to Incognito Wear so that the listeners can check that out. It is on the Tarncap website, and so you will find it over there as well. And as I said, those will be in the show notes as well as your social media outlets. And do you have any other parting words that you would like to share with my listeners, Gustavo?
Well, Mia, again, I just want to thank you for the time and for the opportunity. We look forward to hearing from your listeners. And if anything, from parting words, I think that, again, we truly believe in that people should always carry. I have a lot of respect for our first responders, but ultimately the responsibility to defend is yours. And so if we can empower people to do that and provide them with the right tools, that's our goal. That's our mission. So
Excellent, excellent. Will we see you at any trade shows this year? You mentioned USCCA and NRA. Do you have any other shows you're going to go to?
So right now, we are looking into the NRA show, which happens to be here in Dallas, and so we will have our shirts available there. We haven't mapped out the rest of the calendar, but I'm sure we'll be attending other industry events.
Okay, well, I hope to see you at some of them. And for my listeners, if you do happen to see Tarncap, go and say hi and check out their stuff in person. I think that would be a lot of fun. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Hey, this is Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, host of the Armed Lutheran Radio podcast, reminding you that the podcast you're listening to is a proud member of the Self Defense Radio Network. Check out all the great content at selfdefenseradio.net.